this my 29th pearl of wisdom during this pandemic era, where reality is no longer a figment of our imagination and our very existence is challenged, demanding of us to become resourceful to survive. There is need for us to step out of our comfort zone. I intend to continue to sound the alarm and offer the necessary encouragement instead of being part of the many who are eating from the menu of fear and damnation. As per usual, our young people are invited to pull up their chair and pay close attention. Life is made up of highs and lows. There is no constant. For the most part, we have been having it good here in Grenada, which ought to have given us a chance to learn from this low point and make the necessary adjustments and stop focusing on doom and gloom while we frighten ourselves and others around us. We need to change where we place our attention in these challenging times and stop condemning 2020, which is a year of recalibration, reset, and refocus. According to a member of our diaspora in the United States, quote, "I am not an expert in economics, macro nor micro, but with the capital markets having fallen more than 25% year to date, COVID-19 is becoming both a human and financial crisis. We have now experienced the fastest fall into a bear market of US stocks in history, and we appear to be approaching a recession. Governments of the larger economies are discussing and implementing stimulus programs, which will likely have some effect on reducing the impact on those economies, and the expectations are that the larger economies will experience a relatively quick V-shaped recovery. However, for many developing countries, such as those in the Caribbean, COVID-19 will likely have long-lasting and in some cases devastating impacts on their economies. The cost of treatment will further stress what are already fragile budgets. The impact of social distancing measures will reduce productivity and further increase competitive gaps, and the slowing down of tourism and potential increases in the cost of imports will likely have significant long-lasting effects on the economies of some of those countries. So to my family and friends in the Caribbean, please be safe and protect yourselves from this virus, but also please plan and prepare for what could be tough economic times ahead. The government of Grenada should be given credit for responding fairly well to the direct threat of infection from COVID-19, but they seem woefully lacking on planning for the economic hurricane that has already started. There are roughly 10,000 unemployed people in Grenada, mostly young women, and that number is growing. The strategy ought to be on laying out plans for socio-economic development and not announcing projects in a sector that will likely take the longest time to be rebooted internationally. The economy needs to be taken full charge of now. In fact, the economy will likely be a disaster by Christmas, and sadly, that will not be the bottom of the trough. A significant number of Grenadians depend on remittances from relatives abroad, many of whom are now unemployed or even underemployed." Unquote. Our penchant for operating in a zone of comfort is not where we should be living right now. We have to mimic the culture of high performers who are never satisfied with where they are and continue to push themselves. The comfort zone is where people who ultimately become satisfied with life live. There is nothing wrong with being comfortable in your life, but comfortable over a period of time becomes boring and dissatisfying, and you start to feel there is something missing. And what's missing is what we call the charge. But there is this other level of energy and engagement and enthusiasm with life. If you therefore feel you've been at your comfort zone too much, and you know it because your career has flatlined, and you're at the plateau moment of your career, that is okay too. It is not because you are not smart, you are not sabotaging yourself, you are in a bad mood or because of the kids. It is simply because you start to operate from your comfort zone where you feel you've done enough and it is time to relax. The outer perimeter of the comfort zone lies our preferences. So we say things like, "I don't feel like working hard today," because you don't have to, as you feel you are already there. You have climbed the mountain and you want to stop and enjoy the view, and there is nothing wrong with that. Set up camp if you will. Enjoy the fresh air and view. Grow your vegetables and just do your thing. But one day, you know what's going to happen? You're going to realize, but wait now, there must be more. It's just the natural human ambition for growth, for contribution, for deeper levels of connection and giving that ought to drive so many of us. We should all look at our comfort zone in relation to our careers, relationships, and of course our health. It is suggested that the way out of our comfort zone is not just about setting a goal or having an aspiration. Some people start breaking the comfort zone a bit by dabbling, trying, or even taking one tepid step forward and then kind of falling back. Here's what I have learned about a few high performers that I have been fortunate to know. They operate in the necessary zone. If we are going to amplify our life to the next level, we all have to seek and find necessary. When you're in your comfort zone, you do things because they are easy. They're a preference. You got good at it. It is a skill. It's a knowledge and a core competency. It's a capability that you can do and you feel good about yourself. The reason why high performers stay high performers for so long, it is because they believe it is necessary to continue growing. It is necessary to put in the training, put in the practice. It is necessary for them to give more, to serve more, to contribute more. It is necessary for them to grow in their character. It is necessary for them to deepen their relationships. It is necessary for them to feel more alive. It is part of their identity that it is necessary to grow. You must recall me telling you, it is necessary for us to all grow through life and not go through life. It is not just a hope or an idea or even an aspiration. It is a must. It is a necessity. Great leaders in their field feel the need to keep an edge, to keep pushing themselves for fear that if they don't operate in that manner, other people will pass them by. But it is not an ego thing, you know. It is just because others look to that leader for inspiration and meaningful leadership and as a role model also. If he lets up and falls into a comfort zone, as all too often we see our leaders in just about every sphere of our society do, not only does he not last and becomes obsolete and disrespected too, but he also would not be able to inspire the people around him. A proper leader does not say, I push myself that hard because I want to win. I push myself that hard because I am scared that there would be people who would replace me. He pushes himself because he wants to grow. But he also knows that he is a role model and that people are watching him. You need to focus on any level of growth that you would want in your life and realize that the only way you will be able to sustain it and keep breaking through is if what you do is a necessary thing for you. Look at those people who make lofty New Year resolutions. They go to the gym for the first week or two. They've stepped out of their comfort zone by taking those baby steps. But they don't stick to it. It wasn't real for them in the first place and it wasn't necessary for them to become healthy. Most people become healthy in their life after surviving something. Broke their leg, got stuck, saw somebody die. And they say, you know what? I really got to change. According to Brendan Burchard, I want to invite you to look at life in 3 areas and find your necessary. Think about first your relationships. Why is it necessary for you to improve your relationships? You see, most people wait too long in their life to find necessary. People wait until tragedy presents itself or a spouse walks before they find necessary in their lives. They wait until scarcity, until obligation, until that very last moment. Because it is very easy to be comfortable than to try. We all are guilty of taking the path of least resistance all too often in our lives. What relationship in your life do you need to find your necessary in? It's necessary for me to be a better dad because it's necessary for me to be a better wife because it's necessary for me to be a better manager, a better supervisor, team leader, teacher, service provider, police, lawyer, friend, brother, sister, daughter, son, mother, aunt, uncle, whatever. Because if you never ask that question and you're not clear about why it's important to you, it's only natural that you will lose motivation, reason, drive, and even ambition and expectancy that we are going to reach it. Let's look at your career. Why is it necessary for you to be excellent at what you do? Can you articulate it? After my delivery here today, can you sit down and seriously ask yourself, what is my necessary right now in my world of my career? Think about your health. Why is it necessary for this year for you to get healthier? Why is it this year now that you commit to quit smoking? Why is it this year that you will quit drinking all your calories, whether alcoholic or non-alcoholic? Why is it this year you're going to stop overeating? Why? If you are not going to commit yourself to ask, why is it necessary? You are likely to fall back in your comfort zone and start smoking, keep drinking calories, keep overeating, stop working out, all over again. Because it's easier. It is the path of least resistance. But that path also leads to early death. It also leads to relationships that are unfulfilling. It also leads to careers that are minimal and never scales to the appropriate levels. When you know what is necessary, you will not be content to be vacationing in the Caribbean with no limits on the duration of stay, drinking mojitos and pina coladas from noon every day. But if you do that, you would not be fulfilling your destiny, let alone your potential. You surely would not be remembered in a good way. For the positively inclined, it is necessary for them to work harder, to develop, to practice, in other words. It is a fundamental identity of high performers to know what is necessary now for him to develop, to grow, to give, and to connect. If you have not clarified your necessary, that is why you would not have more motivation. Your power is beyond your comfort zone. So do something that stretches you beyond what you have previously thought possible, either with your body, your mind, your spirit, or life goals. Nurture within yourself a growth mindset that says, there is more for me, more life, more love, more to learn, more to experience and to achieve. So make it okay to be uncomfortable. That is the place to discover the strength and power to create a new you. You have something special, you know. You have greatness within you. We all do. Once you find your necessary, you would not be frazzled by the effects of COVID-19 because you are disciplined enough to sidestep all the fluff and focus on the things that matter while you proceed on your path to continued growth and a lifestyle of success. Young people, you see why I keep telling you to pull up your chair and pay attention to your unlimited possibilities.